Oh yeah, I recorded this one on my phone when I was walking the dogs. Wasn't expecting to record anything, but I looked up and I thought, could that be a Hillfort? So I did some research. And I realised that thousands of years after they were built, the mystery of the Iron Age Hillforts are still shrouded in the mists of time. And there are over 1,000 of these enigmatic structures dotted around Wales, and many are oddly discernible as man-made structures. But these remnants of enormous earthworks from our unknown ancestors seem to evoke images of magic and mystery. So why were they built? Prehistory doesn't leave us many clues. But one obvious thought is that they were places of safety from attack. Another could be that they were social, a place of trade, a meeting place of community gathering. Another shows evidence of sacred elements and of shrines built into them. Or they could have been for the elite, a show of power, looking over their territory. But I don't think they're inhabited. I think they were living on farms and small holdings. To my surprise, I've discovered there are actually two Iron Age forts, which is an oddity. There is Talgarrig Hillfort and Leckwyd Hillfort. They are situated near Tomfanna railway station, and during World War II there was an army base here, which my father was stationed at. The Talgarrig Hillfort is right above the quarry, and the name means end of the rock. And sadly the quarry has moved a big part of the Hillfort. And there are two sets of bank and ditches, and the banks were probably palisaded originally to make it even more impressive from a distance, and possibly make it easy to protect if needed. And these banks or ramparts encircle an area of about 45 metres long by 22 metres wide, which is quite small for a hill fort. And the site's never been excavated, so its date and phases of construction are purely speculative. Near the centre of the enclosure, a 10-metre diameter circular tower is thought to have been constructed, with a rock-cut ditch now filled with stone. Now, if all the stone comes from the collapsed tower, it must have been quite high, and I imagine would have looked very impressive from a distance. Now, this rather small enclosure could not have held a large number of people, and it would not have been easy to reach in a hurry if they were under threat or attack. Back in the 19th century, when these first hill forts were excavated, it was assumed that all hill forts were defensive. And some were, but so few hill forts have been excavated in mid Wales, which makes it extremely difficult to establish exactly what they were intended for originally, and probably have multiple functions, as I mentioned earlier. Now, the other one, Leckwyd Hillfort, is a bow-shaped enclosure, and it's about 130 metres by 45 metres, occupying a prominent position. And it's also defined by a large undulating mass of ramparts on one side, with two lines of bank and ditch cut across the ridge on the other. Now, this one has not been excavated either, but it conforms to the basic design of what you thought an Iron Age hill fort would look like. We generally accepted that it's from that period, and it was possibly used before and after the Roman period. So I guess each one was for a different purpose. So like I said, it's very unusual to have two hill forts on one hill. Very unusual.